Welcome to the podcast. Pop culture, pop culture, pop culture. PCX3 for short. I'm your host, Big Laser Monk, Joel Davis, the Big Joel. And I'm here with the man with takes hotter than the surface of Mustafa, the Dr. My Marty, Big Simon. Round of applause.
Hello.
We got together and we thought, you know what the internet needs? Two white guys with a live mic and opinions. So that's what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk the news. We're going to talk Star Wars, because everything's Star Wars this week. We're going to go through our favourite B movies, because that is our biggest connection probably as friends. And we're going to do a tier rating of every Star Wars film, because I feel like that's the best way to start a podcast, is to show your true colours on Star Wars projects.
That can't possibly cause controversy.
Absolutely not. Okay, so the news this week has been all about Star Wars. We have watched Obi Wan and we've not discussed it yet.
We have not.
We've not. So, before we get in, should we talk Obi Wan or should we talk Star Wars Celebration Day first?
Yeah, so Celebration Day.
Celebration
Let's
Day.
get into Obi Wan.
We've been hit with a lot of news. Have you been watching the celebration?
I have not, actually.
They did a 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones yesterday, and it was presented by I can't remember her name, the actress who voices Ahsoka in Clone Wars.
Okay.
And she does a big Star Wars podcast as well. She's got a clothing line which is really good. And she called out Ewan McGregor and Anakin.
Hayden Christensen.
He's the brains. And it was the first time I've seen the three of them like in live action. Sort of, I've heard their voices all together, but it was cool seeing them together. That was really cool. I'm loving all the stuff Hayden Christensen's getting. All the love.
Yeah, he deserves it. I think after the...
He's getting his roses where he's due. I love that. Because he's getting like major standing ovations every time he's coming out, which is awesome. But yeah, there was a trailer leak for Mandalorian. Did you see that?
No.
I say a leak, it was half a leak, because the person filming it only recorded the top half of the screen. But it's looking good. It's looking good. They've put it for February next year. You a big Mando fan? You a Fandalorian?
I'm a Fandalorian, yeah. It was my favourite thing Star Wars has done, in a long time.
Yeah.
Until Obi Wan came along, but we will discuss that.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. Like, season 1 and season 2 of Mandalorian are both. Like, each episode felt great. It was like Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
Which we don't get that much these days.
No.
It's what I love about Doctor Who as well.
Yeah. And it felt, I say grounded, it's in a universe where there's aliens and all that, but yeah, it felt a lot more grounded than just the absolute CGI fests of the movies.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated. And they fell back a lot more on practical effects, which I also appreciated.
Yes. It definitely felt like a love letter to Westerns and, like you said, the practical effects of the 70s and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a big 70s TV show vibe.
Yeah.
Which I love.
I did really love it.
So that's coming in February next year. Can't wait, because I think it was supposed to be for Christmas time.
Yeah.
Push back a bit.
But yeah, I'm going to have to catch up on Boba Fett before that.
Yes.
I've heard things about the later half of Boba Fett, which I've not seen.
I will exclude one part of my Obi-Wan discussion then.
Okay.
But anyway.
Well, I don't mind spoilers. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
I'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get to that.
Feel free.
Also, did you see about the Skeleton Crew, the new show?
No, tell me more.
It's either a show or a film. I think it's a film. It's Jude Law. No, it's a show. Disney Plus. Jude Law is the lead in it, and it's about a group of kids after Return of the Jedi.
Right.
That's all they really gave. But they said it's starring kids, but it's not for kids.
Okay.
Like a group of kids on the run.
Possibly a sort of a Stranger Things kind of thing.
That's what I'm getting.
Kids, but not for kids.
Yeah. But that's cool. And there was the Willow trailer. I love Willow.
I've been meaning to see Willow for a long time. I haven't watched it, but I really enjoyed the trailer. It seems right up my alley.
It caught the vibe of the film perfectly.
Yeah, I've quite late to all these sort of, I guess, 80s sort of things. I've only just recently saw The Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed. And the TV series.
Dark Crystal.
Which is Netflix have cancelled.
Yes.
But, you know.
It spooks me and spooks Sarah, my wife, as well. She's terrified of Dark Crystal.
Yeah, they're pretty... I can see how, as a child, they would have been terrified of... I can't remember what they're called.
The weird bird things.
Looking, yeah.
And they said the next time Star Wars is in the cinema, it's going to be... How do you say it? Taika Waititi?
Taika Waititi. I love that man.
He's helming the film. It's out next year.
Really?
Out next year.
Wow.
They're pushing Rogue Squadron back. That was scheduled for December next year.
Okay.
They're pushing that back, and Waititi's film is going to replace that in December, it looks like.
And I believe they've cancelled the Rian Johnson trilogy. I think Kathleen Kennedy confirmed.
Yeah, I think they've cancelled that.
So that's been scrapped, which...
Yeah. Yeah. The Celebration, they're not really talking much about cancellations on them, more about new projects.
Yeah. As they should.
Yeah.
Who needs negativity?
That's it.
At a celebration.
And then last night, because we're recording this on Saturday, last night they revealed a trailer for the new game, the new Fallen Order sequel.
Yes, they did.
And it looked like the Bacta tank at the end has Geralt from The Witcher in it.
Yeah, that was my thought. The crossover you didn't know you wanted, but you do.
Is it going to be a new character, do you think?
There's probably loads of people screaming that it's a character from some comic book that I'm not familiar with. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I really enjoyed the first game. It was probably the only Souls-like game I've ever enjoyed.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, quite a hot take recently, actually. I was having with a friend who said that Cal Kestis is the most boring protagonist that Star Wars has ever seen.
It's a very hot take.
That's a very hot take.
He's probably my favourite Jedi at the moment.
I liked him a lot.
I loved Cal and BB-8, not BB-8. The little robot thing.
Yeah.
But they've got a Lego version of that robot coming out, and it moves.
Wow.
I know. But yeah.
I took all my willpower not to buy a life-size BB-8 because it was the best thing about the sequel trilogy.
I got a life-size Grogu in there. I should have brought him out for this. But yeah, that's my third child, that Grogu. But yeah, the sequel is PS5. It's next gen.
Next gen only. That's right.
I'm gonna have to upgrade soon.
Well,
Saints Row and this are both getting me a bit.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I mean, I don't think we've had a next gen only game yet.
No.
So I want to see what the new consoles can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is. I mean, the last one looked fantastic, didn't it? Graphically, I thought it was
absolutely
stunning.
loved it. I want to replay it.
Yeah.
But do you think it's a coincidence that we've got Obi-Wan, where it's set at a certain time with the Inquisitors chasing him down, and
that was my thought. The Inquisitors reminded me very much of Fallen Order.
They've gone out of their way to confirm that the new Jedi Survivor game is based the same year as the Obi-Wan film.
Wow.
Are we getting Cal in Obi-Wan?
I would pop. I would be so excited.
I thought he was going to be the guy that was going to come save them at the end of Mando season 2. I thought he was going to be Cal.
And boy, was it not Cal. Oh, it was not.
I jumped out of my skin with that X-Wing showed up. Like,
you just know. I mean,
X-Wing?
X-Wings are, a very popular ship in the Star Wars universe, but yeah, you just knew that X-Wing pulled up. And you knew.
All those black droid things turned around because it was like a bigger danger approaching.
Yeah.
Bigger than Ahsoka and Mando and everyone in that room.
Yeah,
It was Luke.
they knew.
Spoilers.
But yeah, sorry to anyone who hasn't seen The Mandalorian. Yeah, you know, I think it would be a perfect opportunity for Cal to show up, being as it's a real actor.
Yeah.
And, you know, the likeness and the voice is all, it's there already in a real
I think that's a
human.
big reason why they picked him.
Yeah, and I hope so, because, I mean, it could, you know, it could add so much more to the game and the show.
Yeah.
So,
So I was reading that he's quit acting.
really?
That he's focusing on politics. But I
He
don't know.
was so
as much
popular
about
in
that.
Gotham, though.
Yeah.
He was like...
So I haven't seen him in anything recently. That's what makes me think that. But
Yeah. And I mean, also quitting acting, yet he's doing the likeness of the new Star Wars game and the voices. So has he really quit?
Obi-Wan, it's like Obi-Wan. They threw a little curveball by showing just Luke in the trailers, thinking we're going to just be watching Luke.
Right.
And no,
Yeah.
we gone to Alderaan. We're seeing Leia, we're seeing Bale, the Organa family, we're seeing Flea.
Yeah.
Kidnapping.
Yeah. That caught me off guard. I
yeah.
had no idea he was in it.
I saw he was announced, but I didn't know who he was playing. I thought it would just be a background character or something.
Yeah.
He was quite a main character in those first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the background now. He's everywhere now.
Obviously, seeing Alderaan was awesome
Yes.
because we've only seen bits and pieces of it in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally got blown up, like in the first 10 minutes of A New Hope. So,
But it looked cool. I loved young Leia. She's perfect. I don't know what the actress's name is, but she's got that. She's
got
that
the
mix.
attitude, isn't it? The strong.
Yeah, she's Anakin and Amidala
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, when near the end of the second episode, when they're hiding in that cargo bay,
Yes.
and Obi-Wan says to her that you remind me of someone, I genuinely thought that Reva was going to find Obi-Wan. She was just about to kill him. And then Leia would be in like a podcast thing, gunning her down. Like, that's my kid. Like, that's my Anakin. I thought that was going to happen. But no, they are she's the perfect combination of both of them.
Yeah. And that really caught me off guard because the trailer showed young Luke. So I thought we'd be seeing... I thought the show would be sort of Tatooine-based young Luke.
Ben.
And wow, it was...
Yeah.
Yeah. A curveball I didn't know I wanted. But I'm all for.
I'm all for it. And I'm interested to see where it goes from here because obviously Reva... Did she kill the Grand Inquisitor? She can't.
Well, shall we go full on talking about Obi-Wan now? Is this the Obi-Wan?
This is the Obi-Wan discussion.
This is the Obi-Wan discussion. Okay, well, maybe to start then, I loved it.
I loved it.
Absolutely. It probably restored my love in Star Wars.
Mandalorian helped restore a lot of love.
Yeah.
But with Mandalorian, it was more... I love Mandalorian more than I love Star Wars now.
Yeah.
But with Obi-Wan, it's perfectly bridging that gap between films.
I agree, yeah. And the tone, I mean, the only one thing we've said to each other was when I texted you yesterday going, why is Obi-Wan John Wick now?
Yeah.
But I am...
See, I got Old Man Logan vibes from it.
I was going to say, I'm a sucker for the sort of beaten down hero story. You know, I love Logan.
Yeah.
You know, I love a lot of the comics where they're older and just darker. So this was perfect for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I questioned a little bit, why is he not using the Force when fighting? But I think he's probably lost a lot of...
Well, I was thinking more he was hiding it from the Inquisitors.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, both. I mean, he had to use it at the end, but you saw that it took a real toll on him. It looked like it was physically really draining for him to use the Force at the end. So,
because I feel like if he'd lightsabered Flea or used the Force, it would get back to the Inquisitors. And I feel like he's probably not used it for years because of that.
Yeah.
But I loved it. And where another little throwback I liked was when Leia's dad, Bale, did the little hologram message to him.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to say, "You're our only hope."
Yeah. Yeah.
I really thought.
I keep expecting that to come up now as Leia's being kidnapped. I'm waiting for her to say, "Help me, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope." But when he messaged him on the communicator, even for me, that communicator, I had that as a toy as a child because it was the episode 1 communicator that they use. So seeing that again, even just that little circle was just brought back a flood of nostalgia.
It was amazing.
It was.
I loved that. I also... There seems to be a lot of hate towards Reva online.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of people didn't like it. You're not supposed to.
No.
You're not supposed to like
being the
it.
third sister.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot more to her story. Why
Absolutely.
she's so
she doesn't look
passionate.
anything like the Inquisitors either. You know, they've got the white skin, the eyes.
Yeah.
Sort of like the Darth Maul look eyes. So she's clearly come from somewhere. And they mention her being found in the gutter. So
Yeah.
she has a story.
Do we think she's one of the younglings from the start?
I thought this originally, and then until I had to look up the actress because I thought, God, is she the crew member from Fallen Order? Because she mentions that she has a bad past in that, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I believe she was a Jedi.
Yeah.
Who neglected the Force. But yeah, I did double take, thinking, is that her? As they're set in similar time periods. Obviously, it's not, but yeah, I think there's definitely. I think she's possibly a youngling who was, as they say, found in the gutter. So possibly after, Order 66, she may have been picked up because of her use in the Force.
Opening with Order 66 was a bold move.
Yeah.
Very bold.
It was.
It's always hard to watch for me.
I was going to say,
whenever they've shown it, because they showed it in Mandalorian, and we've seen it in Clone Wars, and we've seen it in the films.
Yeah.
And it's always cool to see it from a new angle, because it was such a big moment in the whole lore of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So it's always cool to see it from a new.
Yeah.
And in the game as well. In Fallen Order.
Yeah, I think those words now, execute Order 66, and the way that Palpatine says it now just sends chills down my spine.
Yeah.
And as soon as those words are said, things are going to go crazy. But there was actually, did you see the Easter egg in Fallen Order?
Go on.
Where the scene near the beginning where you're on the train, and you're walking through the train, there's a door that's locked. And if you interact with it 66 times, you get the voiceover, execute Order 66.
Now I've got to replay it.
And you hear the voice, execute Order 66, and I think you get an achievement called Order 66.
Okay.
As well. But it's, it takes a while because you've got to press that button 66 times. But not, obviously the Easter egg is known, but I've never met anyone that's actually done it.
I will be.
It's quite.
I will be doing it.
Yeah. It's literally as soon as you get on the train, walk straight to the back, and it's the locked door.
Not only will I do it, but I will be streaming it. I will stream next time I play Fallen Order. We'll stream the whole thing.
There we go. So you're going to see the Order 66 Easter egg live.
Speaking of crossovers and lore, Reva plunged her lightsaber through the Inquisitor.
Yes, she did.
It looked like he died.
Yeah, he probably did. And I think she's possibly going to pass that off as saying Obi-Wan did it, because she's not going to admit to it. But I wonder then if she will go up the ranking, so to speak.
It feels like the Grand Inquisitor was trying to hold her down because he thinks she's trying to get up that ladder. But I think from our point of view, she's got something else to it. Yeah. She's got a connection to Obi and Annie. Something. Because how does she know that Anakin is Darth Vader?
Yeah.
For one.
Yeah.
That's a massive secret in the world of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Why would she just shout it out? Like, she knows something.
Yeah.
She knows
this brings me back to the youngling thing.
Yeah.
Where is she one of the ones that Anakin sort of massacred?
Yeah.
Potentially. But it was weird for me that you know, the Sith and the Inquisitors were actually saying, you know, you're a bit too crazy. Like, you want to rein it back.
Yeah.
Which...
There's definitely something there. But also, how could she kill the Grand Inquisitor? Because we know he's alive afterwards in Rebels. So I'm guessing he ain't dead.
Is it a different Grand? See, I've not watched Rebels yet.
It's the same Grand Inquisitor.
It definitely is.
Yeah. And it's after this.
Okay.
I think he's one of the main characters in it.
Well, the fact that she isn't in Rebels may suggest that she didn't. She may meet a bit of a untimely end.
Because to maybe jump into spoiler territory a little bit with Rebels, Inquisitor gets killed by I can't remember his name, the main guy in Rebels. He does.
Is it Ezra?
Ezra's teacher,
right?
The other guy. He's got his spinny lightsaber, his cool little red lightsaber, and he's doing that. And oh no, maybe it is Ezra. The teacher's been struck down, and Ezra picks up his lightsaber. She's got two lightsabers. And he sticks it through the circle and like chops it, and then like pushes him, and he dies. But his ghost has to like serve time in the Jedi Temple as like a slave, sort of thing, and then he ends up fighting Luke, which is really cool. I think that's what happens. It's been a long time since I've watched it and read the comics with it.
Yeah, the only reason I know Ezra is from Disney Infinity. Yeah, because I had him as a toy.
Rebels,
Disney Infinity.
Rebels is amazing. Like, I love Clone Wars, but I love Rebels more.
Wow,
I do, because I love Ezra.
Is that a hot take?
I don't know. Clone Wars is very loved.
Let us know. Let us know if that's a hot take.
Clone Wars is very loved, and I do enjoy Clone Wars, especially the later seasons. But yeah, speaking of Clone Wars, let's slide that into conversation. When Obi-Wan was last week, before Obi-Wan came out, Disney Plus UK put out a list of things you should watch before.
Oh, the Obi-Wan collection. Yeah.
So there was certain episodes from Clone Wars. Ones where he went to Mandalore and befriended the Queen, and they fought together, and maybe more, but I don't want to go into spoiler territory there. And they also showed the episodes where he shaves his head and joins the bounty hunters, Cad Bane, Boba Fett, etc. Don't know whether they're hinting at those sort of things, because obviously we've had Cad Bane come in Boba Fett. It would be cool if he showed up, but I think they were more hinting towards he's been through an emotional time.
Yeah.
And then he had to kill his best mate. Well, didn't end up killing it, as he just found out. And maybe that's... Because there was sort of a discussion of, are they doing this because we're going to get throwbacks to Mandalore and the Clone Wars, or are we just getting these episodes to show that Obi-Wan has been through some stuff?
Yeah. I mean, the rumour mill works with little to no information, so being told to watch a specific episode where there's a specific character.
Yeah.
And being as clearly they have the Cad Bane suit because he was in Mando. Mm-hmm. And people, correct me if I'm wrong, people were not impressed that he got killed off so quickly because people love that character.
But that is, people on the internet get angry at things.
Yeah, really?
Breaking news. But it's very far into his life cycle. Like, obviously because he died. It's very well into his life cycle. Yeah. But
probably towards the end.
There's a lot of stories still very untold for Cad Bane. And Star Wars doesn't work in a linear fashion.
No. I believe Cad Bane had like a comic series as well. I feel like I've seen him appear in...
I think so.
Some comics. So, you know, he's a bigger character than I think Mando potentially made him out to be.
Yeah, I mean, his episodes in the Clone Wars are amazing. Because they've got a whole bounty hunting team. He's sort of the leader of, and he's always been a badass. So I'd like to see more Cad. But yeah, what do you think is next for the Obi-Wan series? We get that little shot of Anakin at the end in the Bacta tank.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Hayden. See what he's like now. I'm very excited.
I want to see him fight then.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things of the Star Wars series for me is if you watch it as chronologically, the lightsaber duels get worse.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
so, you know, I'm expecting, I mean, after what they did in Revenge of the Sith, that was probably one of my favourite lightsaber fights of all time, where he's fighting Anakin at the end. So I'm expecting this is probably going to have some really good choreography. I'm definitely, will they fight? Because wasn't there in the line in the New Hope, though, about them not seeing each other since?
Yeah.
So how are they going to... I mean, George Lucas will probably release it with that line edited out or to completely change.
I would happily take a fight that changes the canon.
Yeah, I would happily take a minor plot hole, throwaway sentence for an amazing scene, definitely. I think we've probably got a lot of Obi Wan learning to use the Force again coming up, potentially. I think we're probably going to see him using the Force at certain times. I'm fascinated with Leia's character development. I can't wait to see that. But yeah, I think the Darth Vader is, for me, seeing that growth is going to be... I mean, you know, Darth Vader in Rogue One was pretty...
Oh, yeah.
Towards the end.
Yeah.
You know, he was brutal.
Yes or no, are we going to see Cal?
Head or heart? Head or heart? Head, not so sure. Heart, 100%. I would love to see Cal. And I think it's the perfect time after just dropping the new trailer to get people interested in the game.
Yeah.
I think it will drum up a lot of hype of people who maybe didn't play the first one, but they're going to see the character. If they make him really cool in the series, I think they're going to bring a lot of gamers on board for the sequel. I think it would make sense to, and I think it would be silly not to. As long as they find a way to weave him in organically and within the realms of canon.
Yeah.
Would be great.
And it makes sense. They're both around at the same time. He's off looking for Jedis. Obi-Wan's got other Jedi in the show, that guy that died in the first one.
Yeah.
And they're both being chased with Inquisitors. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think the thing with Star Wars, though, is that they're so tied up because the end was released first. Well, I mean, arguably the end, but now there's the sequel trilogy, which doesn't exist.
Well, that's a segment for later.
But yeah, I think they're constrained within the rules they've already set themselves with the films that already exist, because there'd be a lot of questions such as why doesn't Cal stay with Obi-Wan? Does it mean he's died, which then potentially spoils later games? There's a lot they can do. I mean, stories are infinite. They can make up whatever they want.
Yeah.
So, I'd be super excited to see him in it. What about you?
Yeah, I think he's going to be in it.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They love giving us fan service.
Has it gone off?
I don't know.
We'll find out.
They love giving us fan service, and I think they will want to do this. I think Cal makes a lot of sense, and it's a good way of linking the old fans to the new fans. Yep.
I want to see Cal.
I want to see Cal. So in other news, we've had some trailers.
We have.
But the Thor trailer. Tell me about the Thor trailer.
I'm still recovering from the unseen. What? You know, did he flick too hard? That's arguable.
That's Asgardian's ass.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of the era of Jane Foster Thor. I read that a lot.
Yeah.
Excited to see her with her guns.
Yes.
She looks great.
Fair play. I think she's 40, nearing to... I mean, to get that physique at... Yeah, and arguably when the metabolism was slowed down and everything. I think she looks incredible.
Yeah, everyone is looking great in that film. Big question, though. Are they hiding a third character? Because there's a lot of scenes in the trailers where it looks like it should be 3 people, but there's only 2.
Yes. Have they pulled a No Way Home?
Or
where they badly removed the other 2 Spider-Man, yet showed Lizard getting hit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who could it be?
Well, Bittery Bill is always the one thrown around when it comes to Thor films.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're on Sakaar for a lot of the films. It could be Hulk's son, Sakaar.
Yeah. I feel like they've downplayed in the trailer the Guardians' involvement a lot.
Apparently, it's only the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I feel that like initially people were like, "Oh, it's going to be a Thor/Guardians film," and it looks like they leave pretty quick, which I'm fine with. They have their own franchise, and as much as I love the interaction between Peter Quill and Thor,
there's quite a lot of the script for Love and Thunder leaked like 2 years ago.
Okay,
but that was one of the ones where they said Guardians are only in it for like the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I hope that it's good, because Thor 3 was amazing.
Yeah, arguably the best Thor.
Ragnarok.
Is it arguable?
It's not even arguable.
Yeah, I mean, I think it pretty much is hailed as the best Thor.
I can't even really watch the second one.
Yeah. Dark World kind of has gone down in a bit of infamy in the Marvel universe as being one of the worst Marvel movies. I can't remember it. At the time, I saw it obviously at time of release, so I would have been quite a bit younger. At the time, I didn't, I just thought it was a Marvel film. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I was very impartial. But then, Ragnarok came around. And I think Chris Hemsworth does humour so well. Yeah. That, him and Taika together are just a dream team. But then I love Taika in general. I mean, Jojo Rabbit, and he's got that perfect blend of humour / seriousness. But I think the problem with a lot of the early Marvel films, the early MCU films, is that they've not aged very well. I would agree.
Because I feel like they went through a bit of a change around the time of Guardians of the Galaxy, where they started focusing a bit more on humour, and everything got a bit bigger budget, maybe?
Yeah. I'd say the improvements in special effects.
Yeah. Pre-Avengers MCU was a bit harder to rewatch.
Yeah. There are certain aspects, I must be honest, I do prefer. Like, they put a lot more practical things into Iron Man 1 regarding the suit and everything. And I think sometimes they rely too much on CGI. I mean, they had a Spider-Man suit, but it was pretty much CGI the entire time on Tom Holland.
Yeah.
And things, pointless uses of CGI. But, I think they definitely found their stride. And I think for me, this looks like, I have to be honest, I think I'm getting a bit of Marvel fatigue with the movies.
I'm also feeling that.
I feel that they all follow such a similar pattern that Ragnarok kind of obliterated with the humour. Yeah. It felt different enough, fresh enough to be its own thing. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to that. But one thing, we've mentioned Jane already, and I don't understand. I've seen a lot of people online saying that she's CGI muscled up.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not real.
I don't think it looked CGI at all.
Neither did I.
It looks very real.
Yeah, I thought that. You've seen other set photos where, even out in public, there's a lot of photos of her looking, a lot bigger. Yeah, I don't think it's... that's one thing I don't understand. I don't think it's CGI at all. And what you have to bear in mind, though, is when those scenes are filmed in the movies, they've probably just sort of worked out, got a bit swole, the lighting's perfect. So same with Chris Hemsworth. I mean, he looked, he did look incredible at the end, but it's not like I assume he's going to walk around like that 24/7.
No. I think it's safe to say both Thors could absolutely kick my ass.
Yeah, I think they could kick. I mean, Hemsworth, I don't know if you follow him on Instagram or he has a fitness app that he runs, and he's really into his fitness, and he is absolutely jacked the majority of the time. So, yeah, I mean, he's just incredible shape.
Speaking of incredibly jacked all of the time, maybe not all the time, but She-Hulk trailer.
She-Hulk trailer, yeah.
It didn't fare well with the online people.
No.
The internet.
A lot of that was the CGI, right?
Yeah.
And just the humour of the... Yeah, I think the humour... I think it angered a lot of the... people saying, you never be able to show a man carry a girl into the bedroom anymore, but yet, they've at least sort of sexed it up with her, and get over it.
Yeah.
It's not an issue I have. The issue I did think the CGI looked wonky. However, they've re-released the trailer on Disney Plus and it looks a lot better.
Really?
Yes, they've added texture to her skin and everything.
I did watch it first thing in the morning. I didn't notice anything noticeably like that bad the first time it came out, so I was quite surprised to see all the focus on the CGI. But I think with She-Hulk and a lot of these Disney Plus shows, they can't just be like, here's another one for the comic fanboys.
Yeah.
They've got to switch it up. Like, Miss Marvel's going to be based at a younger audience, just like the comic is.
It's an opportunity to do something different.
Yeah.
Because they know what people want from the films. And, we've just said that, fatigue kicks in with a lot of people. So the shows are almost like a refreshing, little distraction from the films. The chance to be different, see what works.
That's it.
They may change the movies going forward if an aspect of a show works particularly well. And it's a lot of characters that I don't think would have ever got their own movies. So I'm happy that they're having the TV show. I think it looks fun. I gotta be honest, it's a character I've always quite liked in the comics. I think the hater on the CGI, I wouldn't say it looks bad. I'd say CGI now is in a place between looking bad and Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
And I think, especially as well, so with... You've probably noticed that as the sort of MCU Hulk went on, it looked more and more like Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
And more entered the Uncanny Valley sort of, especially Professor Hulk, I thought was very much that sort of, it very much tried to look like Mark Ruffalo and came off looking a bit uncanny. I think that's an issue possibly with this one. They're making it look like the actress a lot.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It is what
just
it is.
Enjoy it.
You can hate on a trailer all you want, but until the show's out, you don't know if it's going to be good or bad.
No.
It could just be a bad trailer.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
Yeah. It definitely seems to be trying to push towards more of Sex and the City type viewer.
Yeah, I did get more of a aim towards a female market.
Yeah, there's not just female.
Yeah, like the rom-com sort of.
The rom-com market, yeah. Like, I got vibes from like Desperate Housewives, things like that, things that I enjoy as a break away from superhero stuff.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's cool to see that. It's good to see that going in different directions and hopefully very much horror direction towards Halloween.
Yes, I very much hope. Having seen what they could do with Multiverse of Madness and the freshness that horror brings in, I want them to lean even more into that. Mm-hmm. I did. You've not seen Multiverse of Madness?
I haven't.
No, it got a lot of hate. I don't understand it myself. I really enjoyed it.
People on the internet getting angry.
Yeah. I don't watch a movie necessarily to sit down and pick holes in every single plot hole, because when you're dealing with something like the multiverse and things like that, you are going to get plot holes. Mm-hmm. It's almost inevitable. Show me, any sort of like time travel movie that doesn't have a plot hole. But I think for me, I focus more on the direction of the film, and you could see a lot of Sam Raimi in the film, but it was a lot of Sam Raimi that felt as though he was held back a little bit. It was almost like there's certain scenes he wanted to go full Raimi, but they said, maybe, remember, this is a 12. Pull
I think
back.
some people go into a film looking for plot holes.
Yeah, or just looking
for reasons to complain.
Yeah.
That's just a waste of time and energy. It's not a way I would like to live my life.
No. I mean, I think it's fair to say we both know I used to be that person. I used to be fairly negative.
But we have very different outlooks of watching films, and which is something we've always connected with. We've both got very different outlooks.
Yeah.
But
and I wouldn't say necessarily
just start
one of us
podcast or something.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, no, and I wouldn't say that like either of us were like particularly negative. I think we just like different things. Mm-hmm. So we could both watch the same film, and I might disagree with what you liked, you might disagree with what I liked, but I think we still look for the positives. And
what an odd couple.
What an odd... But I do think we do still look for positives.
Yeah.
On the whole.
From that, there was the rumours of the Black Panther film possibly having Namor in it.
Yes.
It's been a strong rumor for a while, but it's definitely, when I've read Black Panther comics, the battle between Wakanda and Atlantis has always been my favorite plot point, because there's just complete hatred between the two groups and they can never see eye to eye. And it's something I very much wanted for Black Panther 2, so I'd like to see that. We don't know much about Black Panther 2.
I think, yeah, it feels like there's almost a sort of they're hesitating showing because they know that people are not going to like the fact that, you know, it isn't Black Panther as such.
What direction do you think they should take with the casting? Obviously, Chadwick Boseman died. He was the lead.
Yeah.
Some people call for a recast. Some people call for the Black Panther mantle to be passed to someone else.
It's a tough thing. When I watch Black Panther now, I watch it and it kind of makes me a bit sad knowing that how much he was struggling and didn't tell anyone going through that film. So for me to like, you know, I think for anybody to bitch and moan that, you know, it's not the same Black Panther in the second one, you know, the man passed away.
With the Black Panther, obviously, it's a title that passed down through generation to generation.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan would have been a great Black Panther, but
yes,
Killmonger got killed.
Yes. And with a recast, I think, because it's in, I mean, the only one time twice they've recast, right? Because did they include Incredible Hulk as the MCU? I think they do, which was Edward Norton, which then got recast to Mark Ruffalo. And then, obviously, Don Cheadle was recast as Rhodey in Iron Man. Yeah. So they have recast in the MCU before.
But not a
major role. No. But then, are they risking and like kind of doing a Batwoman and introducing a whole new character for the mantle? I think was an option, but I'm quite interested to see what they do with it.
Yeah,
I trust Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
honestly, you know, is she the Black Panther I would have cast? I don't know. But then we weren't introduced to any other characters that I felt would have been suitable to recast, to pass the mantle on to within the first one, if that makes sense. You know, had they introduced a character in the first one that was really cool, you know, that would have been a natural progression, almost like with Captain America, you know.
Yeah.
That was an easy transition because they had these characters ready to go. But I don't really feel there was a character ready to go for Black Panther.
I don't think the mantle would suit anyone from Black Panther films.
Yeah.
But we'll see what they do. What I do think is they should open the film with a big funeral for Chadwick Boseman as a sort of...
Yeah. They need to acknowledge that T'Challa, I think, has passed away.
I think a big, massive Wakandan funeral for T'Challa would be such a poignant opening to the film.
Yeah.
And it would...
I would just honour Boseman as well.
Exactly.
It would, you know...
It would be a sort of blurred line. We know we're watching T'Challa, but we're also paying a lot of respect to Chadwick.
Yeah.
When we're watching it.
An MCU film breaking kayfabe.
Speaking of Marvel, they had their MMO cancelled. It was being created by the same people who made the DC one.
Yeah.
Which is still getting updates, I saw.
Yeah, I believe it was made free to play some time ago.
Yeah.
Which brought in a massive player base. I tried it. I didn't get on with it, but then I'm not really an MMO. It's not for me.
I played it for a while, and it was okay. It felt dated at the time.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. So that's a shame, I think, because there was a Marvel MMO, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And that got everything... the server got taken down for that.
Yeah, they've had a lot of things like Strike Force, and there's a couple of even mobile games that blur the MMO territory.
Well, there was a console game as well, the Marvel. I got it on my store, my PlayStation account, but I can't play it because the servers are off.
Yeah.
But it's a shame. I think we're still waiting for that really good Marvel game, other than Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Midnight Suns, though.
It's not for me.
Yeah. Well,
It's like an XCOM kind of game, isn't it?
yeah, I had this whole thing back last year where I could never play MMOs. Not necessarily, I was just bad at them. I didn't have the capacity to plot out 100 moves ahead and everything. But I did try XCOM Chimera Squad, and I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'd probably be playing Midnight Suns more for the story,
Yeah.
and the characters.
I
and
hope
the
it's
gameplay.
good. I hope it's good.
Yeah, but I mean, the gameplay trailer they showed, I thought looked fantastic. I'm definitely open to trying new genres I might not have been into.
Mm-hmm.
We both know how that's gone with Fortnite. So
Yeah, I got you on the Fortnite train. But with one superhero game being cancelled, we also got the announcement of the new Justice League video game. All we got was trailer showing the Justice League in their very animated, cartoony way.
yeah,
And then a portal opens behind them, and they all turn to look at it, and then you can hear the Joker laughing. Not much to go on, but I feel it's going to be good.
the style reminds me of Funko Pops.
Yeah,
It's
got that sort of
I think it's probably
vibe.
going to be aimed at a younger audience, I would assume. But like you say, we don't know much.
It could be good though.
Yeah.
We'll do a good Justice League game.
Yeah, and also a good Avengers game.
Yeah,
Shots fired.
shots fired. I wasn't. I liked the Avengers game when I played the beta because it was 10 hours, and then when you could actually play it for more than 10 hours, I realised it was very repetitive.
Yeah. Which is a shame, because I was on board for the story.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the story was great. I liked the graphics, I liked the characters. You know, I'm a big fan of the Tomb Raider reboot, so, you know, being the same team, I thought I was going to love it. But it was just spoilt by microtransactions and that games as a service vibe, which...
And I actually liked that Miss Marvel had her powers and could embiggen and slap things with a massive hand, which we will not be getting in the TV show.
Well, yeah, I mean, it looks kind of more Green Lantern to me.
Yeah.
With the bracelets. But again, I'm not judging till I see it.
No. I'll give it a watch.
And I also think, technology-wise as well, I mean, looking back at the old Fantastic Four films with Reed Stretch and, you know...
There's never been a good stretchy character.
No.
Even in the Flash TV show with Plastic
Oh,
Man.
gosh, yes. Yeah.
Even that was hard. But
Yeah, it's a hard special effect to get right.
Yeah.
So I feel that this has taken that away.
are they taking it away for that reason, or because Reed's about to come in to the MCU?
Well, spoilers, Reed, for Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
You know, Reed kind of has. And again, you see, even there...
John Krasinski is not my Reed Richards.
You've upset the fan base.
Never liked the idea of John Krasinski as Reed, but I'm very stuck with Reed Richards. He is my absolute main character. He is my favourite, so I'm always going to be picky.
Even in that film, they showed him stretch once. Again, they're not... Yeah, I'm not sure they're quite convinced about that special effect
But even
yet.
with Fantastic Four comics, Reed's stretching ability is not something they focus on much these days either.
Yeah, it was more his brain, right? I'm not that familiar with Fantastic Four. Obviously, he's referenced to the smartest man in the universe. You know, I think that's what he's called a lot. So, yeah, I guess his brains would be more than the stretchy brawn.
Reed is more... He's a smart guy who has no idea how to socialise. Or he just hates socialising. He doesn't even go to Ben's wedding because he's trying to fix something in the house and he's the best man. So whilst he's fixing the thing in the house, he just leans over and he creates a machine that can create a portal to Ben's wedding, so he can just jump in there, do the best man speech, jump back into his studio, back to fixing things. But I'm interested to see where they go with Reed, obviously. Fantastic Four coming into the MCU as a property with Doom as well. It's everything I've wanted and more. I'm never picky with Marvel stuff, but I'm very picky with Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he's your baby.
He is. He is. It's my Reed, my boy. But the whole Reed and Victor, their whole relationship is just... they're complete mortal enemies, but Victor is the godfather to Reed's kids. They respect each other so much. But
It's an interesting dynamic.
it is, because when Valeria, Reed's daughter, she gets annoyed with Reed and the family, she rides over to see Doom and just stays with him for a bit, even though they're mortal enemies. And do you know much about Franklin, Reed's son?
I know nothing about Fantastic Four, I must be honest.
Franklin is the most powerful mutant in Marvel.
Really?
He can literally create universes just in his hand. When he was a kid, he used to just sit under his bed, under his duvet, and just create universes and grow planets in his hands, and just, he can create life, he can create universes. He's way more powerful than like Wanda or someone like that.
Wow.
So it would be really cool if they brought the kids in, because the kids are just as much a part of Fantastic Four.
Well, the kids...
He mentions he's got kids, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Film. Yeah, Wanda asks him, has he got kids? And he says, yeah.
Because they've got a whole school, the Future Foundation, where Franklin and Valeria, they learn about things, but there's also other kids there with powers. And they normally go on adventures with the Fantastic Four. So maybe I feel we would get a Disney Plus spin-off of the school.
Yeah. You know, I was just going to ask
Disney
you,
Plus.
If they... So obviously the Reed in that multiverse, obviously spoilers, is dead now, but he had the kids and he was that far along in his, well, quote-unquote career. Would you want them to introduce Fantastic Four into the MCU from the start with the accident and everything?
No.
Or would you be happy them coming in already established?
I'd want them all. We've had it. It's like with Spider-Man. We didn't have him being bitten by a spider and all that.
Yeah.
And I liked that. It was straight to everyone knows.
Yeah.
And I feel if you come in with just the family and maybe not the kids yet. You don't need the kids straight away. But I'm not interested in watching them get their powers again, to be honest. But yeah.
We differ slightly on that, but that's only because I know nothing about Fantastic Four.
I would like a Doom TV show about his childhood, though. Because he's got a very interesting childhood, which really helps the character behind the mask. I think a Doom TV show to go with the Fantastic Four film would be my way of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, with Disney Plus, everything's an option.
That's the way you've got to look at things now.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with Disney Plus to be a companion to the film?
Yeah. If they don't make a Fantastic Four MCU movie from the start, I think I would like to see them introduced in another film where it can just be, where you know. So for people like me who are not that familiar, we get an idea of the origin story, but then moving into their own film.
The Ant-Man film, the new one, that's supposed to be the first time we see the family.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which would be cool.
It's going to have to be Krasinski then, isn't it? Because I can't see why they'd hire one actor to do that cameo and then not have them in.
Reed is probably the biggest character that involves the multiverse. Because he's got a place he goes to where all the Reed Richards from every multiverse goes to.
Right.
And they all, if he's stuck with a problem, he'll go and see all the other Reeds and be like, help me. Wow. And then they'll all sort of come up with it. That's okay. We'll carry on. But yeah, he when you get all the Reeds together, we've already seen through the multiverse with Loki that not all the Lokis have to look like Loki.
No.
Some of them look like crocodiles.
Yeah. Yeah, that was another complaint about Doctor Strange, saying if Loki had only just created the multiverses, then how were all these ones established in Multiverse of Madness and have been running for a long time?
Loki didn't create the multiverse. He stopped the person who was stopping the multiverse leaking.
But you saw them all branch at the end. So my thought on that was that the multiverses within a universe, if that makes sense, and then the other multiverses from Doctor Strange are multiverses within different universes, if that makes sense.
Multiverse.
A multiverse, yeah. And I mean,
I have all these multi things. Jamie Oliver's going to come in and get rid of them. He doesn't even allow multi-buys anymore.
No.
But no, I always got the vibe that, well, the thing at the end of Loki, when Owen Wilson, wow, he doesn't recognize Loki.
Yeah.
So that multiverse is already there. That universe is already established. So why can't others?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, like, again, it's not something I want to get too bogged down on because I don't care. I just want an entertaining film.
I always got the vibe that Kang was holding our universe hostage.
Yeah.
From the rest of the multiverse.
Yeah.
And when Loki destroyed that, we joined the multiverse. That's what I got from it.
Yeah, could be.
But another thing that they could do with Reed, you got me on the subject of Fantastic Four now. When Reed does go to that place where all the other Reeds are, Reed's biggest enemy is the Thinker, who is Reed in a weird mask. And he is like the complete opposite of Reed, but just as smart.
Oh, wasn't the Thinker introduced in the Flash TV series? Was that the Tinkerer? The one in the wheelchair, the one who could change his consciousness into the other people.
In the Flash?
Yeah, in the Flash TV show.
That would be quite a change of universe.
Yeah, he was the main villain in one of the series.
The Tinkerer is, yeah, but not the Thinker.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Tinkerer.
Because wasn't the Tinkerer...
Because he was like super smart in his little metallic wheelchair.
Wasn't he also Peter Capaldi in Suicide Squad?
Yes, or was that the Thinker? I don't know.
We'll have to... I'll double check that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to
There's
think
so many
not, because
names.
he got dispatched so silly.
Yeah.
I hope.
Maybe Krasinski could come in as some form of Reed Richards again, but I don't want him to be my Reed. He's not my Reed. I just don't... I feel
you need to give him a chance, though.
Maybe... I like John Krasinski in The Office and in... What's that show on Amazon Prime? Where he's like...
Jack Ryan. No.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, it's Jack Ryan.
I loved that. I really enjoyed that. He was great. But he's just... He's not my Reed. I just don't see it.
I got confused then with Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
That is the other show,
yeah.
which has the guy from Titans.
Yeah. And he's been in quite a few superhero shows, he has. Anyway, very off subject there. But I'm not a fan. This is another tangent. I'm not a fan of fan casting an actor just because they look like the comic version. Like, you have no idea if they can play that part.
Yeah.
It's like one of my biggest pet peeves. It's like, yeah, but look, he looks like the character, so he'd be great to play him. You don't know that. You don't have the personality for it.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but I do like when... Well, I like them casting actors that look like the characters if they can back it up with the acting ability as well. I like that.
But then the character looks like whatever the artist makes him look like.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Thinking about it with each different artist.
Reed from the 60s comics didn't look anything like John Krasinski.
Yeah.
So...
But I know, he is a good actor, and I didn't know that Reed was meant to be a bit of a dick. Which you told me, which was the vibe that he gave off in Spades in Multiverse of Madness. Like, I thought, you're a dick. Like, surely, Mr. Fantastic isn't meant to be a dick.
Oh,
But from what you said, he was, which is why I think you may give him a chance.
Maybe.
And see.
I'll give it a chance.
Who would you have then? Who would you have? Who would you be, Misty? If you could cast now,
I had a terrible fan casting for Reed Richards. A few years ago, I fan cast Oscar Isaac.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to happen now.
No. What's his name? I'll tell you exactly who I want, actually. Have you seen iZombie?
Yes.
The guy from that. And he's in the horror show Rahul Kohli.
Okay.
He is so good at being a dick, but also being really smart and handsome at the same time. And I've always got Reed vibes from him. And I think he's teased it a few times, because I think a few people have fan cast him. And he's on TikTok. He's quite funny on TikTok. He'll do like a filter that turns him into Reed Richards or something, and he puts it out, and then the internet goes wild. So after going off on a bit of a tangent about Reed Richards, which I could talk for hours about Reed Richards.
Yeah, you could have your own separate podcast on Reed Richards.
Just the whole family. Yeah, one day I'm going to talk about the entire Secret Wars Avengers Fantastic Four thing, because
I haven't listened because I don't know that much about it.
I found a video of one of the comic book guys on YouTube who reads the comics and makes a video of it, and his Secret Wars video was 9 hours long.
Wow.
Just reading through all the comics. I couldn't do that one day. I think that's how I'll reread them, is by watching someone else read them. But anyway, you're going to have to take the lead on this one, because they've announced new PlayStation
shows of properties that I love. Well, 2 properties I love. One I'm indifferent. Yes, so they
guess announced... which one.
Yeah. I love Gran Turismo. No. Yes, so we have Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, and Gran Turismo being made into TV series. I believe Netflix have acquired the rights for Horizon. Amazon have acquired God of War.
Okay.
Nobody's acquired Gran Turismo yet, of my knowledge. But interestingly, it has the director attached of Neil Blomkamp of District 9 fame.
That's interesting.
Which is not super interesting.
What?
It couldn't get further apart. Alien invasion, action movie to racing series.
I've never really played the GT games.
No.
I look at this like, are they making a film of FIFA?
Well, I mean, they made the film of Need for Speed, and we all know how well that went.
Need for Speed had a bit of story.
It did. Yeah, so Gran Turismo, I think in an interview, they've said it's going to be a TV show about racing.
Okay.
Which makes sense because, it's Gran Turismo, which is about racing. But I feel that it's an IP that didn't necessarily need... it's just going to be about racing. It doesn't have... a character.
I'd say it's more Sony PlayStation flexing this is one of our things.
Yeah.
Flexing the brand.
Yeah, I mean, PlayStation actually have studios that do TV and movies, so the question being, is it going to be made by PlayStation Studios and then outsourced to Amazon and Netflix? Mm-hmm. So basically, I think people are wondering at the moment how much control each studio is going to have of the IP. There's a lot of worry, particularly around Netflix and Horizon, with Netflix changing shows as much as they do and etc.
Yeah.
Your battery's run out completely.
That's all right. We're still recording.
Around Netflix changing the shows. God of War is probably my favourite of the 3 because that's the one I've known the longest. I was a big fan of Greek mythology. Mm-hmm. So back in the PlayStation 2 days, they were my favourite games. And I really like the jump they're doing between mythologies at the moment. They're currently doing Norse mythology. And, it's probably going to change again. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one because theoretically, they could... I think as long as they have Kratos as the main character, then potentially they could tackle any mythology and really make it their own thing. Yeah. And I'd be happy with it as long as they kept Kratos' backstory of being from the Greek, pantheon. Yeah. I'd be fine. Because I thought originally I'd hate him in Norse mythology, but they tied it in so well. And the idea, if you take the mythologies separately, you had people who believed in the Greek gods, people who believed in the Norse gods, you had Christianity and everything. And there's never really been anything that has had them all be true. As in with God of War, because all of the gods are real. You had all the Greek gods are real, all the Norse gods are real, and I think that's such an interesting concept.
See, everything you're saying, because I've not got much of God of War. I've played the first one. That's all. But what you're saying, you're basically describing Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, it does, yeah. And I mean, because I believe Zeus is in Love and Thunder, which would again bring the Greek and the Norse.
And Christian Bale's character, Go the Butcher, is basically Kratos.
I mean, yeah, draw a red stripe. I've seen a lot of fan casting now as Christian Bale as Kratos, and they've photoshopped the photo with a red stripe down his face and gone, look, it's Kratos.
I always see fan castings of Kratos to be Tommaso Ciampa or Triple H.
Yes, yeah. I've even seen Batista.
I could see that.
I could see it. But Batista, I believe I read something the other day, he's actually retiring from those sorts of roles because he's going to allow his body to just, he's not going to keep the strain to look how he does on his body for projects. I believe I read his health is suffering from having to look like that all the time. But yeah, God of War, I'm really looking forward to. I hope that they include the team who make the games in the consultation.
We talked about this a little bit earlier. Simon is very much into accurate source material stuff.
Yeah.
You like a good film to be like the source. I'm the opposite. I like different to source.
Oh, within the rules. I don't mind them doing different.
There's rules?
Well, within the universe already created, I don't mind them doing different stories, that's fine. But when they fundamentally change a character is where I start to... I don't lose all interest. I will watch it and I will, enjoy it a lot of the time. But a biggest example of that for me recently was the Halo TV show, which was so far from anything that before they even released it, they actually had to come out and say, look, this is a different universe. We've changed everything so much.
There was a Halo TV show?
Yeah, it's just finished.
Missed that.
Yeah, it's just finished. It's on Paramount Plus, I believe. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, the big thing, similar to, I'm not sure how familiar you are with Judge Dredd, but part of the character is the not removing of the helmet.
Yeah.
That's a big... Halo, first episode, helmet off. Rest of the show, he's not even in his armor for the majority of it.
That is not the way.
So, yeah, no, that is not the way. Mando would be
Didn't they cover the Judge Dredd thing in the comic? Where they had the 3 Dredds from the films team up.
And interesting, I don't know.
They had the guy without the helmet. And
Stallone.
He went into his portal back to his world, and then the other 2 were like... Why is he taking off his helmet? We don't do that.
That would be hilarious.
That's what that was in the Dread comic.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, they touched on that.
That's quite funny. But yeah, again, see, I'm starting to change how I actually view my adaptions now. I used to view them as, you are adapting this story. But if you view it through... I think the multiverse has created a shift in mindset for a lot of people as well, and being able to think, okay, I mean, it's the same with Halo. It's in the Silver Timeline, the TV show. Okay, so potentially they can do whatever they want because it's not the same Master Chief. But I still feel by doing that, they're exercising their creative control, which is fine. But don't market it towards fans of the games then, is where I'm coming from with that, because you're obviously going to get backlash by the fact that he's out of his armor virtually the whole series. I mean, I can count on one hand the amount of times he wore his helmet in the entire series. Yeah, and it's just things like that. They've really changed characters and things. So I didn't enjoy it. And the 2 moments they had where his helmet was on with battle scenes were phenomenal.
Yeah.
They got everything right. They got the Covenant right, the weapons, the sound effects, everything was perfect. It was just everything in between, like the battle scenes. Wasn't for me. I know it does have a couple of fans. But again, they've done the thing where Master Chief takes a backseat to a character that they've completely made up called Quan, who is an extremely irritating new character.
So what would you focus on for Horizon?
For me, Horizon, just get Aloy right. Just get her character right.
I've played Horizon, the first one.
Yeah, I've just come off of the back of finishing the second one, and a lot of the things that I didn't quite like about the story in the first one got fixed in the second one.
Okay.
And they've expanded the lore in a way that I really adore now, and some of the places they've gone with it I really enjoyed. The worry I've got for Netflix, and somewhat, I mean, God of War is Amazon, so if they're funding it, Bezos has more money than God. So if he wants to throw and make this show look... I mean, I think their Lord of the Rings show is going to be the most expensive TV show ever made.
Yeah.
So they've got the money. But what I worry about for Horizon is how they're going to do the special effects of all the mech dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They are the world, essentially. So I feel that they need to make that look decent, or my suggestion would be make it animated.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Because nothing's going to look out of place.
No.
I think there's a certain disconnect when special effects are so bad that it pulls you from the world, and how vital the mechs are to the world of Horizon. I think if they looked dodgy, it would pull you out. And also, I feel that if they did live action, they wouldn't be in it very much because of the budget, because of the effects.
Yeah.
So I worry it would turn more into a drama. I mean, it's going to be a bit of a drama anyway. Horizon is, with the war in factions. But I think Horizon, for me, just need to get Aloy right. And actually cast a redhead actress. I find that they don't get enough love in movies.
Okay.
Cast a real redhead.
Who would you cast?
Oh, wow.
I mean, the one I keep seeing is the girl from Game of Thrones.
Star.
Ygritte.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that would be...
Because she's in a new series about time travel that's on at the moment. I keep seeing the advert for it. So she's still doing good things.
That would be cool.
And obviously the character was quite similar with the bow and arrow and
exactly.
all that.
Yeah. Yeah, thinking about it, actually in Game of Thrones, she would be perfect.
Yeah.
There's even a bit of resemblance there, character-wise. Yeah. I'd go with her. Or cast an unknown.
Yeah.
I mean, this is their
would
chance.
You want someone younger? Because I don't know how old she is in Horizon, but
I think she's sort of like late teens to early 20s.
That's sort of maybe younger than I was thinking.
Yeah. And I think that's, when we discussed earlier on about people wanting characters to look like certain people, I wish people would stop jumping straight at Hollywood actors and giving some unknowns a chance.
100%.
Because, I think we need a new generation of actors, kind of, and it would be a good break.
I would be much happier if they announced Reed Richards casting and someone I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's no fourth wall break in there where I'm looking at Reed Richards and I'm thinking, you're just Jim from The Office.
Exactly, yeah. And I think typecasting is tough when you're trying to launch a new franchise.
Yeah.
Casting an actor that's really well known for something else sometimes doesn't work for the production. But yeah, like I say, make it animated. I'd watch either. I just started watching Arcane on Netflix, the League of Legends, and the animation style for that is gorgeous. And it's, it's aimed more at adults as well, I guess. Yeah. So I think it would be a perfect fit for something like that.
With the PlayStation shows, PlayStation Studios, they've also done Uncharted. And
yes.
What else? Are they doing a Ghost of Tsushima?
I did hear it was rumoured.
Well?
Rumoured.
Reaver?
Why am I thinking of Norman Reedus? No. Yeah, I would love that. I mean, I'm obsessed with Asian culture. Yeah. That would literally be my show, and that was my game of the year that year. I'd love that. However, people wanting PlayStation to produce it, I was not fond of Uncharted at all. No. The movie. I thought National Treasure was a better Uncharted movie.
Well, maybe they'll learn from their mistakes. And, there's a whole different pot of creative people you could get in for Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that mistake that I just mentioned about casting who's hot right now really didn't help Uncharted with Tom Holland. No. I love Tom Holland to bits. I think he's one of the nicest people, but he was so far from Drake in attitude, appearance, just kind of everything. And again, Mark Wahlberg as Sully. But the rumour was that he was only Sully because he was originally cast as Drake, but the film took so long to get in production, they had to give him a role, hence they gave him Sully.
I really liked them in the trailers. I haven't seen the film, but I loved Tom Holland in the trailer as Drake. But we differ.
You might enjoy it. And I think we have different ideas. To me, Uncharted's about, the locations, and a big part of Uncharted for me is gunfights and the action fights, because they put so much work into the mechanics of making those flow so well that it kind of became part of the game. And I mean, in the Uncharted movie, I don't think he fires a gun once. And I think there's like one fight scene in the whole film. So it's, taken quite a lot of... I hope for a sequel, though. I have hope for a sequel.
What Sony franchise would you want them to make into a film?
Oh God, does it have to be a Sony franchise?
Well,
I have a couple of video game franchises I like.
PlayStation TVs, PlayStation Films, Sony Studios.
Okay.
I'm going to answer this first.
Go.
PlayStation, Sony, if you are listening.
Which I'm sure they are.
If you are listening to this podcast, Sony PlayStation, fund Parappa the Rapper.
Wow.
I want big budget. I want 18 rated. I want R-rated Parappa the Rapper. You cowards.
Well, I mean, you know, what rapper would voice Parappa? You know, you're into your rap music.
Me.
Yeah. Yeah.
John Krasinski is Parappa the Rapper.
Ooh. Franchises. They've done it already, but I want them to do it better. Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
And I want that to be a series.
Animated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. An animated
John Krasinski is
Ratchet.
Ratchet, Batista is Clank.
Yeah. Well, John Krasinski is Ratchet and Clank. Just put a modulator over his voice.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a lot that I'm.
So I'm trying to think of. Remember that Smash clone that PlayStation did?
Oh, All Stars Battle Royale or Victory. Or, yeah.
Battle Royale, I think it was.
I wanted to. That is one reason that's making me keep my Vita because it's still going strong.
I'm trying to think of like characters from that because that was all the sort of
everything. It had Kratos, Uncharted. I'm pretty sure it had. Oh, here's it. Also Sony, if you're listening, Heavenly Sword reboot. Heavenly Sword.
Okay. Yeah. What about? Would you allow them to do a new Tomb Raider?
They are.
Oh.
Yeah, Alicia Vikander's. I think they've started casting for the sequel already. I think it's in pre-production.
Okay.
See, I did enjoy.
You're a sucker for Tomb Raider.
I am. I'm a sucker for all things Tomb Raider. And I'm a sucker for Alicia Vikander.
Well, let it be known that I own all the Lara Croft skins on Fortnite and Simon doesn't.
Yeah, that's one thing that is, that's eating away at me, knowing that.
And that was the news.